Chris knows it's in person. I've texted him.
All right, I've got 9 o'clock on the clock on the wall, so we'll call this regular scheduled March 9th session of this court into order, and we'll start with the invocation by Magistrate Jason Cullen.
Our most kind, gracious Heavenly Father, we are gathered here again today. As a court, we ask that you will watch over us and give us the knowledge and compassion needed in order to look after the citizens of Boyle counties and the fiscal responsibility we have that the citizens have entrusted us with. Heavenly Father, we are grateful that you have listened to our prayers and answered our prayers and guided us through this pandemic, that we are able to start gathering again and start being able to see one another and to allow us to be healthy and be safe. Father, we are missing our brother Tom Ellis, who's recovering from surgery. We ask that you will watch over him and put a special blessing on him as he still recovers from the surgery. We ask that you will continue to watch over those that serve this country and this county, the fire department and EMS, sheriffs, our jail staff, and everyone that works tirelessly for this county. We watch over them and their families. We say these things in our loving name of Jesus Christ.
Amen. All right, thank you. Right, Cullen. So, and next, you'll join me in standing in our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty then. Thank you. Next on the agenda is for us to go over the minutes from the preceding court session and entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve made by Magistrate Salmon. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate. My hearing's back. Is it short? Okay. All right. And discussion, changes.
Tom?
You're good. Oh. Way to go, man.
He's on a roll again.
We're going to operate on the other leg next week.
There being no changes, comments, or additions.
It's going to be a long meeting.
All those in favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you for that. All right, now we're going to approve some bills. Miss Mariah, come on in.
Morning.
Good morning, Mariah.
All right. So bills, can you hear me? Bills to be approved to be paid total $393,997.76. Standing orders total at $329,933.80.
Move to pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Motion made to approve the bills as presented by Motion Gaines, second by Magistrate Salmon. Any discussion, comments, or questions? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, Tom?
He said aye.
Not he did, but,
But it was in when you kind of asked.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just follow, just
Good.
stay
Just
up with me.
follow, just stay up with me, Tom.
I'm good. I'm good.
All
I'm
right.
good.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, okay, thank you.
Next, we're gonna look.
All right, next we're gonna look at some budget transfers.
Treasurer.
So the
Treasurer.
budget transfers this time.
So the budget transfers this time are treasurer salary, treasurer FICA match, EMA utilities, recycling new equipment, and EMS medical supplies.
And they total how much? And they total how much?
Good question. No.
Good question. No. The total is out of the general fund transfers $2,545.92, and total in EMS is $5,706.59.
They approve everything but the treasurer's salary. No, I approve.
Wait a minute, now, we need a motion motion made by Mr. Cullen and second by Mr. Short to approve the budget transfers as presented.
Comments?
Discussion, comments?
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Motion
like
carries.
sign. Motion carries. I got you, Tom. Thank you.
7 seconds, but.
All right.
All right. Cash transfer.
So we have two cash transfers this time. One from the general fund to EMS for operations for $70,000, and the other to the jail from the general fund for operations for $200,000.
I move we approve the
We approve the cash transfers as presented.
Motion made by Magistrate Gaines.
Motion made by Magistrate Gaines to approve the cash transfers as presented. Is there a second?
Second by Magistrate Salmon.
Second by Magistrate Salmon.
Questions, comments?
Questions, comments? Discussion?
All those in favor of.
All those in favor of approving the cash transfer signify by saying aye.
Opposed, like sign?
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, we'll start right in.
All right,
with
we'll start right in on with the calendar,
Go first.
and let's go first to the airport board for their presentation.
Well,
Mr. Rob Caldwell.
He's here.
I need to get wrong about that.
Feel like a nurse.
Good morning.
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 Morning, Rob.
Thanks for having me up here.
I guess this is budget season.
I guess this is budget season.
Yes.
You're thinking about money.
I know David Caldwell.
I know David Caldwell submitted
An ask for $10,000.
an ask for $10,000.
But really,
I guess what I'm really looking for is to make an appeal for the Civil Air Patrol. I don't know if they
have asked.
personally, if they have asked for monies in
I
this
don't know if we've got
cycle.
anything.
I don't know if we've got anything from Nick or.
I just, my concern.
My concern, and actually, it may be
You allot something.
you allot something to us, that we could maybe allot some of that to them,
I just know that
try to help them out. I just
they're
know
in the
that
COVID cave.
they're in the COVID cave and trying to dig their way out, and it's such a great organization. I just would really like to see them get back on their feet. And so I guess what I'm appealing to you all for really today is to give some consideration to helping the Civil Air Patrol, either through us or directly. And so, but that's it.
When's cut off?
Last Friday.
Last Friday.
So they did, so they,
What?
And I,
okay, so they did not apply.
right, and I did leave a message with Nick Bird if he would give me some information, I would send him, and I never heard back.
Well, then we can do that as an airport board. Then I would ask you to give consideration to our appeal for $10,000.
Well, we learned this through
the brass band,
the brass
that,
band.
on the form, there's a
On the
request, what
form,
those
there's
funds
a
are going
request
to be used
what
for.
those funds are going to be used for, and
We, I believe,
we, to I
Can you
believe,
correct me?
Keegan can correct me, to stay in audit, you have to use those funds for whatever you request.
Or the specific.
So
And we will.
if we, that's just, yeah, to keep us clean, if you guys are requesting 10,000, please use it for that, and then hopefully that'll alleviate some funds that the airport board has to go to that very worthwhile cause, because I've been talking about that in several, people looking for opportunities, they look for Boy Scouts or whatever, and I try to.
CAP is a great opportunity.
Fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, they are, and so, yeah, and I appreciate that. One thing we like to be is compliant, because we like to get through our audits as quickly as possible. No hiccup, so I appreciate the advice too.
Well, I was at the airport the other day, it looks fantastic out there. So you guys are clearing out some space too for possibly some more hangars, or
We are,
maybe
you know, we have growing pains, which are a good problem. The flight school is over 10 airplanes now, and they're using 3 hangars to do maintenance, and so we're now discussing ways that we can find a space for them, and we're looking at spaces that we already have that are underutilized to see if we can do a little upgrade to those so that we can accommodate more people, because as you know, when I come up, I talk about our waiting list and whatnot, and so we think that now is the time, you know, to do that, and so we're actively involved in trying to see how we might utilize space better. And that said, we're also still campaigning for an aircraft maintenance technician school to be located on the field as a, you know, workforce development and incubator for jobs. And I know in Boyle County and our folks in Lincoln County that have joined the airport want to use that as a springboard in order to attract aviation-related businesses. And although it would produce a lot more graduates than we would need, that could find jobs in the state elsewhere. UPS, DHL, Amazon, just to speak a few that everybody would know, you know, and GE in Northern Kentucky, and even Meggitt Aircraft out here, you know, they have lots of people they train themselves, but somebody has to be able to sign off on the maintenance of those trucks and that they're rebuilding. You know, so that said, we're trying to do, and we have a meeting with BCTC at the end of the month. Jody Lassiter has arranged it, and with Director Michelle Carter, and so they're going to give some consideration to that, and so we'll keep you posted on how that's progressing.
Is EKU kind of off the table now?
They are, and so they had a great vision, and they had applied for and received monies from
ARC.
Yeah, thank you. I had that moment. So, but it was to be utilized on 4 different airports, and when they regrouped, ARC pulled the funds because it then no longer really qualified, and it would not have been fair to the other grant applicants had they allowed us to, or them or whatever, to, you know, to segue it into one location that wasn't originally designated. So that said, we kind of backed up, and they fortunately received good funding for their aviation program, which they've got over 200 students flying right now, and they're getting new lighting over at their airport in Madison County, and those students are going to be flying out of Danville while their airport's closed. So just like we were when we were elsewhere when we were closed last summer. So they're doing right well. You know, but other than that, as far as activities, we're focusing on early October to get, as we've done 2 years in the past, an Experimental Aviation Association provides kind of blanket coverage for us, and we get a group of pilots and give young folks from the age of 7 to 17 free rides, and we've been giving over 100 rides each time we've done that, and we're going to try to incorporate that into some sort of aviation.
Hey, Bill, we're getting feedback from you.
That's Tom playing some mic.
That's Bill.
He's muted.
Bill, can you mute yourself, bud?
I am muted.
Picking up on your
Big brother.
There it is. It's on. Okay.
Who is William?
Bill Nick. Feedback.
All right.
You're the guy above.
Behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, so we're and we may do some things before that. we're just kind of watching to see, what the CDC guidelines, how they evolve, and when we can get out and start inviting the public in, to show off their airport. I will mention, just in case anybody has an interest, we're starting an initiative. There's a little area next to the brick building we call our FBO building at the airport. That's a grass area, and a couple of us noticed the other day we've got an instructor that has a wife and an infant son that's frequently out walking in the field, across from the FBO while they're waiting for their father to come back, and we thought there's a little grass area between the corporate hangar and that building, and we've got a little picnic table out there, but we're thinking about fencing that in and putting a little playground so people in the community can come out with their kids, and that way they can look right through the fence and watch the airplanes, and we think that would be a great place for people to go out and lunch.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can bring my granddaughters out.
Yeah, and so it's a great place that you can turn them loose, and they can watch the airplanes.
You can't turn them loose unless it's fenced.
Yeah.
Well, we,
There's been a plane.
I had my two littlest ones out there the other night, there was whoever applied to Cherokee out there that I think it might have been Christian or his brother.
Nick is taking flying lessons.
Yeah, and we actually were just out on the ramp, and they were running around. The ramp's huge. It was like there wasn't really anything happening besides him taking off and landing. Kids were running around themselves out.
Okay.
Well, I enjoy the air show about every night. The way it's fly over my place there.
A little balloon with yellow wings.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Tartar has the red one.
No, he has the yellow.
He has the solid yellow.
Has the yellow.
NRC.
Yellow and flies a lot.
Mine is the blue one with the
You
yellow.
flew last night, didn't you?
I did, actually. My sister
Yeah.
wanted to go up, and so we
Okay.
did a tour of the county. Actually, she wanted to see. She'd been out hiking at the Perryville Battlefield Park.
Yeah.
And it looks like they've done a burn out there on part of that habitat that they've got, and just amazing what they've done out there.
Yeah.
And,
They burned that off so that new growth can come on.
Okay. Well, I don't mean to take any more.
Get hold of Nick and get squared up with him and try to find out why he didn't submit an application after being in contact.
Okay. Yeah, no, not a problem. And we will do it in a compliant way.
And hopefully the schools can get back on with AOPA and get you people that way too.
Yeah, thank you. Anything?
Just one quick question. Rob, through the years, there's been money in Washington that Stewart and you all after Stewart passed away have gotten in contact with. Do you foresee in the future that money will be there to do things for small airports like increase runway length, build buildings, or
Yes.
we've been helped a whole lot with the airport, with other monies that Stewart was able to tie into. Do you see that down the road as being available?
Absolutely. Well, an example of that is we received $3 million last year from the state of Kentucky, and we repaved the whole airport. And the next thing that we'll get from them, probably the state of Kentucky, is the lighting project, which will be $1 million. And so, and then our long-term plans are to try to go south with our short runway and start lengthening that because it's so handy for training on crosswind days to have the two runways.
You're talking about the old runway?
The old runway.
How far across you gonna go through there, do you know?
Well, we'll just kind of wait and see.
My sister and them let you take her place, baby.
You would like for us to?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's great. And I've talked to some of those neighbors down there about getting trees taken out, and some of them were amenable to it, and the ones that weren't said, we're not really wild about you taking the trees down, but why don't you come by our property? So at any rate, it seems like the people that are south of the airfield are seeing us as their best opportunity to transition properties.
I know when I was a boy, our farm went towards that airport, and there was a Piper Cub come over and landed in our fence. Right in the very back. That's the only plane I know that crashed.
I'll be darned.
When I was about 10 years old. And,
Nobody got hurt, that was a good thing. But he kind of missed the runway. Too quick.
It happens unfortunately. And then on the federal side, we actually do, they're called AIP funds, or
That's the Wright brothers.
and those funds.
Was that the Wright brothers?
To the federal government
Wait, what?
are based off the aviation fuel tax, which is primarily funded by the airline industry. And the theory behind that is divvied out to the general aviation airports to give us a place to fly in hopes that we won't go into Reagan National and Cincinnati and places like, to get us out away from, the busy hubs. And so we had, for our last big hangar project with the feds, we had spent ahead, because you have to spend it every year. And so West Liberty loaned us 3 years of their $150,000 a year. And so we built a hangar, and so the last 3 years we've been paying that off. As we've received our funds, we've repaid them. And so as of this year, we now, have those federal funds that Stuart received. Although I will tell you that the federal government passes an equal amount of discretionary money out every year to the AIP funding. And we've gotten AIP funding every year it's been available, and we have never gotten discretionary funds. So if anyone gets their arm around someone from Washington and you want to share that little tidbit, Stuart did wonderful things, but no, they never gave us discretionary funds. So, like this AMT program or whatever, there is that opportunity out there. So if anyone has an opportunity to share that, we would certainly appreciate it. We've never taken advantage of that.
Y'all been lucky through the years. Grow the airport without a lot of local money being involved. A lot of federal money has been kind enough to help us out. And with what we've been through for the last 12 months, is that going to, my question was really, is that going to continue to be there? But if commercial, sounds like if commercial gets going again, and buying gas and using gas, that helps us too, so.
It will. Yeah. Once the airlines start, and they will start flying.
And they will start.
Yeah, I know Jake Bell is a local, he was a Delta pilot that had just was ready to sign off on the 737 with Delta, and then he got furloughed like a year ago, and I think they're planning on him being back in October. So that's an example. Yeah. Then they think it's going to start ramping back up.
But one of the things we need to look forward to is this, and John and I talked about this earlier, is that the hardships and the blessings of COVID that we're talking the airlines right now, the aviation industry of more charter business because of all they envision a lot of strict regulations on flying commercially now, so you're going to see a lot more charter business probably start popping up, which will benefit smaller airports like Boyle County's airport and the others that are all over, because many people don't realize how many small airports there are all over the place, and it's a lot easier to get out of your car, walk onto the ramp, and get into a plane than it is to spend 2 hours ahead of time getting ready to go on a commercial.
Well, that remote meeting, I think one thing we'll get out of this situation, the condition we've been in last year, there will be more remote meetings and less 10-hour drives just for a 1-hour meeting than there used to be.
Yeah.
Y'all got a real jewel out there, so.
Oh, absolutely.
You really did. Great opportunity.
Well, Rob, thank you for coming in today. I appreciate your time, and always enjoy to have you here with us, and hope you have a good day.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Good seeing you, Rob.
We'll send in Miss Vickie Goode if she's out there. And Robbie, look, and
Robbie.
And Robbie.
All the time.
Everybody got a pair of scissors?
I knew that was coming.
Good morning, y'all. Good morning, Vickie. Thank you, man.
Jamie,
What's he saying?
What's your long distance? He wants her to know he's listening.
No.
So how many more years do Jason and I need to keep ours growing here?
Thank you.
Catch up.
Just whenever you want to quit. I'm thinking about cutting mine back a little bit.
I'd cut it off. You're looking like that.
Well, I've had many comments the other direction. When you cover up, cover off your look.
You remember the handlebar mustache, don't you?
Well, good morning, you all. I'm gonna give you an update on Main Street there.
Oh, wait, Tom's listening, Vickie, so he's.
Oh, okay. Can I take this?
Yes, please.
Okay. Hello.
The first sheet I gave you is
The first sheet I gave you is our reinvestment statistics for the year 2020 for Main Street, Perryville. You'll see that we have a total of 111 jobs. New full-time jobs created were 2. Part-time jobs created, there were none. New businesses created was 1. Rehabilitation projects, you can use, you all can read this. But total reinvestment by public and private individuals in Perryville for 2020 was $1,855,124.79. So, business went on even though through the pandemic. And everybody's done pretty well. I mean, they're recovering nicely. We're glad we didn't lose any more businesses than we did. And the second sheet I've given you is a running total of what we've invested since 2009 when we got use of the buildings on Merchants Row and to the Merchants Row properties since 2009. And up to date, year to date, we've raised and spent $510,083.16. The cents is always important. They tease me everywhere that I include that back into the buildings and the renovation thereof. This year we hope to have the Turtle Derby as a fundraiser. We missed out on the Turtle Derby and everything last year, but we hope to have that this year. We're very excited about the new bridge being put in, and we're ready with that.
I'm ready for it too.
Oh, we are. With transportation, we've worked out, they're going to buy an easement from us on the parking lot there so that they can make that
swing,
that swing.
Bub out.
Yes, and they're gonna move that light pole and
they are gonna move
they are gonna move it, they say, because they're gonna take, it's about halfway up the parking lot to where they're, and then part of that's just a use easement that they're not purchasing. So they've got all that marked off and they're ready to start on that. And we're waiting on the Turtle Derby date. It'll probably be in August because they know that they're going to start hopefully in May with the bridge, and we'd like for that work to be complete. So if we push it out to August rather than July, hopefully most of that work will be done and it won't interfere with any of that. And then the commemoration, of course, is October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and we're getting excited about that. Last year we were able to complete our tax credit application for the Jonathan Britton House, and that was approved, so we were thrilled to death with that. So that money will be turned back into restoration of the buildings. And then in November, the city of Perryville decided to deed 6 of the Merchant Row properties to Main Street, Perryville, and that deed was transferred on January the 29th, and we've taken those into our fold of properties that we own. We have those fully insured, and we're getting ready to start the project on restoration of Dr. Polk's office, and that money from the tax credits will be used for that. So we're very excited about 2021 and hope to see some very positive changes.
I noticed you have $1,710,000 in private investments. Is that what you're talking about?
The private investments are individuals that have bought homes and invested in their property. Work done on Magnolia Manor, which is the new wedding venue in Perryville that will open this year. It was delayed from last year because of COVID-19.
But that would be under your budget, would it?
It's not under our budget. This is what's done in the community. That's
this sheet is.
That's all community. Each Main Street community submits that.
So they've invested $1.8 million.
Mm-hmm. So, and that just goes to show that people are interested in moving and living in Perryville. Perryville School is a big attractant.
Yes, it is.
Because we've got such a good school. And it draws so many people. the battlefield, but the school is just phenomenal. And people want to live there so their children can go to school there. And it's a very positive asset for Main
I
Street.
agree.
Yes, it is.
So, and we
My
want to thank,
grandson goes there.
and they do a great
Wife
job.
is sub somewhere, it's a
Right.
beautiful school.
So, well, I mean, we moved to Perryville from Danville for that reason, so my daughter could go there, so that's why we moved there. Do y'all have any questions?
I don't believe so. Thank you.
Come on.
Both
over,
of you.
please. Okay.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You all too.
Just before.
Yeah. Hold on, Tom.
Hey, Vickie.
Out here spending so I think Vickie might have mentioned some of the extraordinary work being done by several families. Going to have new Airbnbs and just a lot of exciting activity out there with people truly investing in the community.
That's good news. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
We miss you, Tom.
All right, next on the agenda is that I have a proclamation that was presented to me. I want to enter it into the record, proclamation for Arbor Day. And this came to us from, what was the name of the group? Man, I can't think of it. But, something that one of the state agencies that we do every year and recognize each of the 120 counties recognize Arbor Day. And, so the Arbor Day proclamation in the state of Kentucky, I urge citizens across the great Commonwealth to participate and observe on this day of planting, by planting a tree, a reward that of future generations will be more beautiful Kentucky, whose health and well-being are sustained by this great natural resource, our forest. I think it came from the Kentucky Division of Forestry as an initiative that they do annually, so I would like a motion to accept the proclamation for Arbor Day on the 9th day of March in 2021. And we'll vote that in the minutes. Motion to approve the proclamation by Action Haywood, seconded by Magistrate Salmon. Any comments, discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Did you say something?
No, Tom.
Did you say something?
No, Tom didn't.
Huh?
Yes, I was muted. Yes, I was muted there.
Thank you. Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you that, all opposed, like sign of motion carries. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have, Mr. Jeff Jewell that's going to come talk to us about the farmer's market lease agreement at Constitution Square. All right, morning, Jeff. All right, morning, Jeff.
Morning.
So I'm just here basically.
To thank you guys for offering the farmer's market use of Constitution Square again this year. We really appreciate it. Last year was our best year ever, farmer's market. We generated over $110,000 that went straight from consumers into the pockets of the growers and producers. So it means a lot to the community. We really enjoy having a Constitution Square. And just one little quick story I want to share with you guys is how much it means. Last couple markets of the season, I must have had 20 folks, especially a lot of older folks, that told me it was their one safe outing they felt like they could do every Saturday morning, and they told me how much it meant to them and how much they like it. So I just want to say thanks on behalf of all the farmers and the board and the people that come and shop there.
Okay, we hear good things, and I don't want to, well, is there any negatives to what we're doing there? Has anybody had any complaints? I just want to, to be open and honest. And I have not heard them myself. I'm not looking for something.
No, yeah, we remarkably.
No, we remarkably have gotten almost no complaints. We're always a little conscious of traffic and parking and all, but most of our customers know to stay like away from the Main Street side, so even Burke's and those businesses there have parking available. Of course, a lot of people buy stuff at Farmers Market and go pick up stuff at Burke's, so they do a good business. But no, we've got no complaints at all. People really like.
Is there anything that the court wishes to change about our agreement or understanding, or do we need to sign that annually?
Yes, the lease is due to be renewed. The lease is due to be renewed.
And so, I was talking to Jeff, I don't think there were any requests
I
to
don't
change
think
it
there
on
were
the
any
farmer's
requests
market.
changes from the farmer's
So if
market.
everybody's happy
And
with
so
how
if
it works,
everybody's
I will
happy
get a
with how it
clean
works,
copy.
I will get a clean
It
copy.
expires at the end of the
It
month.
expires at the
It's
end
a
of the month.
2-year lease.
It was a 2-year lease.
Does that sound right? Yeah.
That sounds
So
right. Yeah.
with your
So
approval,
with
we're
your
going to prepare a new
approval, we'll
lease.
go ahead and prepare a new lease.
Make a motion, we renew the lease with Farmers Market.
Okay, motion made and Matthew, second by Matthew Short, to renew the Farmers Market lease. Without changes other than to update the currency of the lease. Discussion.
I'm very much for this.
I'm very much for this. You know that. I've supported it for years.
Is it
Very much.
procedurally, is this something?
Procedurally, is this something that our Constitution committee
needs
to sign off on also? Or can we just do it amongst ourselves without their?
Started under the committee.
You started before the committee. Yes, it may not be. I'm just, we need to be consistent.
I think because of how it started,
Yeah.
and their charter is to. I've heard no negative comments from the Birthplace of Kentucky Committee regarding interactions with the farmers market at all, and none. And so I think because it is basically a lease producer, kind of an agreement between the court and another entity. They're aware of it. I just think all we're doing is updating and renewing. And if anybody has any difference of opinion on that, I'm willing to entertain it.
It's just a procedural question. I'm very much supportive of what they're doing and they're doing. I think it's a great place to have it.
I do too. That brings more people downtown.
I just want to be sure we're consistent in the way we're going.
I would say they had concerns.
They have not expressed any concerns in any meeting whatsoever on their monthly meeting. So.
I know, you know, when I'm working or I'm driving by, Jeff's always there. And one of the nice things I really like that the farmer's market takes care of them. And what I mean is they're always constantly cleaning their back of themselves, but before they set up, they're picking up damages, they're doing different little things to keep that. So that's, you know, I appreciate that very much. And I mentioned this before when I brought it up with Jennifer to farmer's market downtown again. We have a fund for Constitution Square. And so if there's ever a possibility of maybe like a night market, and we have a fundraiser, people that come down, like, hey, would you like to, you know, contribute to the Constitution Square endowment fund? We would be happy to accept. If you want to talk with the rest of the board, you know, and possibly maybe come up with something. That's one thing that's, as a court, we've been talking about a lot, is how we're going to start replacing and do other things. And we actually want, this committee, we want to have a lot more interactive things going on in that square, you know, instead of just square of logs. So, I know you greatly appreciate, that area. You're there every day, with the change.
6 days a week.
Yeah, exactly. So, anything that you guys can come up with, maybe contribute bucket, whatever.
Okay. We will do anything we can to help take care of the square. It's our home too, so.
I'm sure you all. And then my other ask is try to keep it as close to a traditional farmer's market. With, you know, shouldn't be too commercialized.
Our
bylaws are actually
Yeah,
really.
our bylaws are actually really explicit on that, with locally produced goods, so, yeah.
Perfect.
Good job, thanks, Jess.
Good job.
Thanks, Jason.
Judge, one question
Thank you.
on insurance.
Judge, one question on
Do we have
insurance.
liability?
Do we have
They
liability?
named on our
They
insurance
named on our
policy,
insurance
unfortunately,
policy.
if somebody gets
I
hurt.
Unfortunately,
believe
if
they
somebody
are,
gets
I
hurt,
believe they
or
are,
this
but
can't be all
Julie, remind me
Check
to
with,
check with, Page General, see if they're on our general policy.
I think they did.
I think they did.
I think they told me that because it's a publicly open park, anything that happens.
We were talking about events at the park.
We were talking about events at the park. You remember with the garden club, if by virtue of it being a public park, if something were to happen.
And I can get something in writing.
And I can get something in writing from them.
Just double check on that, just in case.
And we also have liability insurance.
You did,
Until we get that brick sidewalk.
Yeah, I know, we
We
got a hazard or two down there, we need. While you're there, you had a tree that got affected in the ice storm, is that, is
That's gonna be all right.
that gonna be all right?
It's probably gonna.
Yeah, there's one that.
Yeah, there's one that really took a bad, it shattered right down into the trunk.
Right in front of your office?
Yeah, right in front of Jody's house,
I
actually.
mean, it's
Oh,
all,
it's
it's
a
all
bad.
followed out.
Yeah, it's a shame too, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful tree.
That was kind of heartbreaking.
That was kind of heartbreaking when I came in the morning, it was like, oh.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
It was so sad.
All the more important for Arbor Day.
All the more important for Arbor.
So,
Exactly.
so,
Exactly.
we haven't voted yet. We haven't voted yet. I don't.
No.
We had a lot of discussion. We had a lot of discussion. So, is there any more discussion on the motion, which is to renew and upgrade between Green Farmers Court and Farmers Market? There is no additional discussion. We'll ask for a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, like sign? Opposed, like sign? Thank you for that. Motion carries. Thank you for that.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it. You had a great day.
Thanks.
Trille, you're on. Trille, you're on. How you doing?
Great. How you all? Hey, everybody.
How's Mark? Is he still progressing?
He is still progressing. Thank you for asking. He was totally off his oxygen yesterday. So, yeah, we're happy about that.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, a couple things here this morning. First thing is to approve the fourth quarter report. And I apologize, Katina and I had a communication problem, and she didn't get them copied to Miss Ann, so, but I did copy them and put them at your own desk.
Motion been made by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Gay, and that is to approve the county clerk's fourth quarter report. Would you, discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries. All right,
Thank you.
approved, thank you.
Thank you, okay. Now, if I may, we also need to do an amendment to the 2020 budget. And then I can do all the excess.
Here is your amendment order.
Amendment order. You better
Hey, you, Mr. Salmon.
Hey, you, Mr. Salmon.
Wow.
Hey, you, Salmon.
Special day for me, 9 years ago, 49 years ago today.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so.
Of course, you can see from the fourth quarter report to this, we went over, on our 2020 budget. So that's why we're doing the amendment, to the 2020 budget. All the amounts are listed there. They're reflected on
The one that says 2020 budget.
the one that says 2020 budget amendment.
And you can see.
That we budgeted, excess fees of $283,749. I'm actually presenting a check for $374,336.94. which rounded up is your 374, 336.
Last
Last
year,
year,
I
I presented 252,890 and a penny, so 121,000 plus more.
Very good.
That is awesome.
Good.
That is.
And I'm gonna point out that was in the middle of a pandemic.
Tell you what, we probably ought to take a picture of that.
Our office never closed as far as business. We were closed to the public, but as far as business, we kept on rolling. We did over the phone transactions. We had drop off box. We had mail-ins, which like tripled on, our business on mail-ins. So I think considering everything that we've had to go through, that was a pretty good deal.
Get an election. Plus you
Yeah.
get an election.
Yeah. Yeah, and an election. So,
Okay, do we need to make a
So-
motion? Good, we need to make a motion to approve the.
Yes, please.
yes, please.
So moved.
Motion made by Magistrate to amend this says 2020 annual budget, so the 2020 annual budget.
And,
Yes.
And,
seconded by Magistrate
seconded by Magistrate Salmon.
questions or
Is there any questions or discussion?
Anybody need more time to review?
I need more time to review.
Question. All right,
All those in favor of approving the amended budget of the clerk is signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign?
Opposed, like sign.
All right.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you all so much.
Thank you. You'll send and, Brian Wolf.
Okay, and Mr. Anderson, if you can meet
He already did.
I got 3 copies there. How many you need?
I need more. All right, yeah, I need more. Thank you. Thank you.
Bring another check when you come back. Bring another check when you come back.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
It grew back.
Morning.
So I am here today.
So I am here today to ask the fiscal court to consider renewing our Southern Health Partners contract.
Basically, it's an adjustment.
Basically, it's an adjustment of 2%.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made.
Okay, motion's been made, Magistrate Cullen,
To continue the Southern Health
continue the Southern Health
contract
Partners contract
and seconded by Magistrate
and
Simmons.
seconded by Magistrate Simmons.
Comments, questions, or discussion?
Comments, questions, or discussion?
There being none, all those.
There being none, all those in favor
Saying aye.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and that.
Opposed, like sign, and that motion carries. Thank you for that.
And do you want, I have a signed copy.
I have a signed copy.
That's what I was.
That's what I was
So you've got that.
looking for, so you've got that.
I kept wondering what the glow was.
I kept wondering what the glow was out in the hallway. Now, when I come in here, I realize that it's Master J's shoes.
Or that, that's the color centers, the standard colors.
Hey, just real quick, reminder that tomorrow morning at 10 is the rescheduled jail committee meeting. I'll send out a link.
Oh, and by the way, we have moved joint jail up to 10 a.m. here on Friday.
You might want to be aware of it. You might want to be aware of it. You might be.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
People good to go? All your people good to go?
Boyd should be back on the
Boyd should be back on the 15th.
He stopped in, he looked really good.
Stopped in, he looked really good last time he stopped in the office.
I know he's been trying to work on keeping his O2 level low, so he's been trying to do stuff around the house. He's about to do it back on time. I think he'll be back on.
We've hired 4.
We've hired 4
employees.
new employees.
I'm ready anytime.
We're trying to get them through lunch training. I think we're going to probably start a little more.
That bring you 4 staff. That bring you 4 staff.
We'll be pretty close.
We'll be pretty close.
We'll be pretty close.
We had, of course, next time I'm gonna give a report, we know we just had a, our pregnant women,
our pregnant women.
Battling addiction is still,
Battling
that
addiction
looks like
is
it's gonna
still,
be another trend
looks
again
like it's
this
gonna be
year.
another trend again this year.
So,
Oh, by the way, while you're here, just real quick, and this does relate to the jail right
We've
here.
had some recent discussions.
We've had some
with our
recent
healthcare
discussions with our healthcare consultant, Cheryl Morgan,
And there are
Mr.
some
Mark Morgan,
initiatives
and there are some
on the table
initiatives that are on the
that very
table
well
that may very well help us as we move forward with discussions on different
to
things we're
improve for
trying
the county,
to improve for the county.
an opportunity to reduce our pharmaceutical
RX costs
drastically.
drastically in the jail specifically.
So I just want, as
we get more discussion on that, I'd kind of like to bring you in.
and that's something
So
we may
you-
have to bring.
And that's something we may have to bring Southern Health Partners in, because that contract, they do the med through them, so that may
And
be.
we'll do that.
And we'll do that when the timing is right. There is a special initiative just for detention centers and jails to reduce cost of administering RX.
And that's a big cost for us currently, medication. We have a lot of sick inmates. And then just give you an update, of course, Barry Harmon is out with the guys picking up trash. They did Ghost Pike yesterday, 33,
Stewart's Lane.
Stewart's Lane, they did Parksville Knob the other day.
I've heard a lot of compliments on the Parksville Knob, it really looks good.
We've got like 4 inmates that can go out and work, and, I know we had our jailers meeting yesterday, and a lot of jails are not even able, they've never put a plan in together to have their inmates out working, so we're one of the few counties that have them out, doing trash, picking up trash, so. But they had a big truckload this morning, they're taking off.
You got
If you
Freddie.
don't have an area in your district,
Is Freddie still working?
He's kind of waiting for COVID.
he's kind of waiting for
I think he can
COVID,
get a shot.
so I think he can get a shot and stuff.
But he's gonna come back.
But he's gonna come
But
back.
if you all have something in your.
But if you all have something in your area, in your district, please let me know, or let Barry know.
You get my road yesterday.
Take care.
You get my road yesterday.
I just wanna know if Barry,
I got a call.
if Barry earned any money yesterday.
He is, and we've also used the guys who painted,
Same day.
painted
Stateside.
stateside,
Inspection coming up. so we
inspection
painted
coming up,
kitchens,
so
all
we
that kind
painted
of
the
stuff.
kitchen and all that kind
They
of stuff.
compliant, so we've done a lot of work.
So we've done a lot of work. No, it's kind of managed great, and you won't recognize.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been out, need to get out there.
So-
Yes, ma'am.
You tell me, would it,
You
this
tell me.
contract
Would
with
it,
Renewal,
this
is it a
contract
renewal
with
for Southern
Renewal,
Health?
this is a renewal for
It's
Southern
due
Health.
April 30th.
It's
Would
due
it
April
be in
30th.
our best
Would it
interest to
be in our best
facilitate a
interest to
conversation
facilitate a
with Mark
conversation
Morgan before we
Mark
submit
Morgan
this
before we
on the
submit this?
prescriptions, or
Well,
is
this
it on
is
the
a
best stuff?
prescriptions, or
Well,
is
this
that
is
gonna
a
mess
renewal.
up?
We can always go back and change it.
I
I think we can make an amendment to them later on, once we get updated information, based on our cost.
Because I don't want to lose a provider.
Because I don't want to lose our provider, I'm working on
I
something.
just thought I'd better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Mhm.
Next
All right.
is Ms. Muncy.
Next is Ms. Munson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, just something
All right,
quick.
just something quick,
I'm just not ready to.
I'm just not ready to
$145,000
give up
And
$145,000
I'm
just
just
yet.
wanting permission.
And I'm just
for-
wanting permission
Try
for,
a bid one more.
try a
time.
bid one more time.
Make that motion.
Yes,
All right,
I'm not
motion.
either, so.
All right,
I'm not either.
Motion is made by Magistrate Cullen.
Motion is made by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Short to,
To make another attempt.
make another attempt
For
to advertise for a
location for animal.
location for animal composting
Be
in the
considered.
county. Be considered similar
to the specifications
to
of
the
the-
Just
specifications
to
of
be
last time.
considered and.
Just to be considered, and I'm still maybe looking for a spot that, you know, the county itself can, within reason. I just, you know, that's what I'm.
All right, good. Any
All
questions,
right,
comments,
any
discussion?
questions, comments,
All
discussions?
those in
Judge.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Tom, go ahead.
Tom, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I would think that in fairness to any and all bidders, even those who didn't meet criteria in the past, I think they ought to be allowed to be bidders again as well.
Nobody's saying that they can't be. It's open to all public future potential participants, so.
Potential participants, so.
Anybody that's done it can do it.
Anybody that's done it can do it again. Nobody, if you missed last time, for whatever reason,
You still have the right.
You still have the right to
we still have
reject
the
any
right
and
to
all.
reject, we still have the right to reject any and all.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Did you vote, Tom? Did you vote, Tom?
Not yet. I vote aye. Not yet.
Aye,
I vote aye.
okay. Aye, okay. Opposed, like sign. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that opportunity. We have.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks for all your people's work on litter abatement too.
They got some of the inmates too.
That's right.
Come on in, Miss Shannon. Come on in, Miss Shannon.
Morning.
Morning.
I have 7 comp agreements.
I'll make that
All
motion.
three.
Second.
They're all
Motion
second
made
day.
Motion made to approve the comp, time agreements by Inspector Goode, seconded by Magistrate. Questions? All those in favor of approval. All those in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Tom? Tom?
He went back to sleep. He went back to sleep.
Do it again. Aye. Do it again.
Opposed, like sign. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, and, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Angie.
Email. About a week or two ago. Yeah, if you could just let me know. If you could just let me know. No. Thank you.
I'll look.
All right, Miss Julie's up. All right, Miss Julie's up.
All right. Good morning. All right, I want to kind of talk through this kennel animal ordinance briefly.
For you, I think I
provided you with a clean copy of the ordinance with some proposed changes and a cover sheet with kind of a punch list of all the modifications. And I just kind of want to explain the process that we've gone through.
The first thing is that
we are asking today for your approval of implementing the licensing of kennels.
It's already on the books that we were supposed to be doing this.
There was never really a true process for doing it. Implementing also along with that an inspection process, again, was part of the process that was on the books.
But there was never an inspection
process
So
implemented.
that's the first piece.
So that's the first piece. What we're proposing is to inspect every kennel at least once a year. There's an annual registration fee of $100.
And then on the form, if you look,
there are some processes near the top of
what
the
happens
form.
if they fail
What
items
happens
in their
if they
inspection,
fail
how
items
that's
in their
addressed,
inspection, how that's
some
addressed,
basic guidelines
some
on what a
basic
kennel should be
guidelines on what a
doing.
kennel should be doing.
We think there's somewhere probably in the neighborhood of 20, 25 kennels in Boyle County. That includes groomers, boarders, breeders. Does not include vets.
Does not include vets, but if a vet boards or grooms, they would be included.
So I would say we'll have somewhere around $2,500 revenue a year for just licensing kennels.
Some of the changes in the ordinance when we went through this, there was quite a number of typos and sentences that were random that didn't really make any sense. And
Tom was a godsend
in helping us find those and clean those up, and so we fixed that. I added 3.
Thank you, Tom. We added three new.
Actually, we added quite a few new definitions. We defined what diurnal is. If you don't know what that is, it's the opposite of nocturnal. It is referenced in our ordinance several times with no description.
Cleaned up what a kennel is and isn't in a cattery. Instead of having Class A, Class B, we will now have one category for kennels.
One category for kennels.
And then, as part of that, every dog will be registered
in Boyle County at $10 or $5 if they're spayed or neutered, regardless of how many dogs you have. We have removed the component of going into somebody's property and saying you can only have 5 dogs or 6 dogs or whatever.
As long as you operate in the way that this ordinance says, you can have as many dogs as you want. We've also make sure. Nuisance noise.
If you look on page 4,
we talked about nuisance noise.
And we'll get into that in a second. I have defined what nuisance noise is. It is habitually making loud noises or barking that interferes with the quiet enjoyment of others.
Pretty basic.
Pretty basic.
So with that,
I also added, we talk about minimum temperatures in this ordinance and lighting, but we never defined what that was, so I put that in there. And modified the fee schedule. We talk about reasonable daily cost if a dog is impounded, but we never defined what that was, so now we're saying $10 a day. Also, when you pick up your animal that's been impounded, there's a $25 release fee, and that has always been on the books. So essentially, we cleaned it up a little bit and prepared the ordinance for implementing the kennel process. The second piece of this is there's still some work to be done on this ordinance. There's things in here that we should be doing that we're not doing, and things that we don't doesn't make any sense. So I've had one meeting with the Humane Society. I crashed the committee meeting last week. My apologies, Phil. And we discussed some things in here. So you will see another ordinance amendment with some changes. And I would say that will probably be in the next 30 days. One thing we want to do is get this noise piece right. I don't know what it is yet. I think we need to get a meter, and Chris adjusted tested, make sure we understand how it works before we implement a process that may not work for us. So we're going to take our time, we're going to do it right, and make sure that everybody's comfortable with the noise piece of this before we go any further. So that's what I'm proposing today. Nothing. The only thing today is to correct this language and to implement the kennel licensing, which will start July 1st.
So why would we do anything right now on this if we've got more changes to come? Why wouldn't we just wait till the document's ready? The reason why I propose we do the kennel language first is so that we have time to train the staff, get the paper forms printed, and go through notifying all the kennels. And as of June, you're probably going to want to start licensing your kennel. If you want to table this and do it all at one time, that's okay with me. When I started this, that was my intention, but we're just...
Seems like a lot.
Yeah.
So
I thought I'll just tackle the kennel
first, and then we'll do noise and everything else.
Two more questions.
It's up to you.
For now. You said every dog should be licensed. Are we going to, or is there a thought to require these kennels to verify that they have the current license?
Yes. Yes. We're asking them on the form that they check and make sure all their dogs. I think that's on the thing. That's our intent. That's our intent. And also to make sure that every dog they do has their rabies is updated on their rabies. Is that
Judge Tom Ellis?
Judge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'd like to commend Julie for the just unbelievable hours she's put in on this, because it is important to all the community that this be done right. There are areas in there that still have the word euthanized, and I'd like to work, I'm committing to work with Julie to continue to go into those as needed change areas that she mentioned. And she's also come up with a very important form that when someone does make a complaint, that they too will have the same level of accountability that the kennels would have in terms of making sure that there aren't public nuisances here.
I do want to say that we're not going to punish a kennel if they have dogs that aren't registered with us, but it certainly helps us if they have. Yeah,
so
you know.
I'm going to ask Chris to weigh in on this one, because Q on page 4, where you're defining a nuisance noise, really vague to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm kind of at, like, I would be doing this today when it's, I don't think that's going to hold up anywhere.
That's the area where additional details on decibels, distance, frequency, and other issues all would come in.
Yeah.
If you want to do everything at one time, that helps me for you to tell me where you are, because I don't know until you see where I'm at to know which way to proceed.
It's very easy to give them a draft and say, this is kind of where we're going, or whatever. But if we They may not pick up on the fact that
They
there's
may
other
not pick
changes.
up on the fact that there's other
Yeah.
changes coming.
Yeah.
Unless we give them a final.
Ordinance kind of.
Sure.
It
Sure.
may make
Yeah.
it may make Chris's
Easier if you
work
see it all
easier
at
if
once.
you see it all at once.
Okay.
Close together. Does that
Close
make any
together.
sense?
Does that
Does that
make
help
any
you?
sense?
I
Chris?
think
Does that
so, and
I think so.
I really
Okay.
thought the only thing that we were
I really
gonna
thought the only thing that we
do
were
today
gonna
regarding kennels,
do
whatever,
today
is just
regarding
the
kennels or whatever, is just the
inspection process. or-
inspection process.
Well, this punch list amendment, would be language cleanup. Language cleanup.
Yeah,
as much as anything.
But if you're doing
clarity.
it 6 months
Yeah.
down the road, I can see where we do take it in 2 phases, but if you're looking
Yeah, sure.
at
If
30
you're looking
days,
30
I really,
Yeah.
I really, I mean.
I'd say the end of
if it's within 1 or 2
April.
court
If it's within
sections,
1 or 2 courts.
Yeah.
you know, I don't
Okay.
see the need to put
You don't
something out
have
there
to
in
see
books
the need
and
to
then
put
change.
out there on books and then
Yeah.
change.
That's fine with me.
Maybe just
I
for
just-
advertising purposes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another fee.
You know, it's another fee. So
Yeah,
that would
sure,
probably,
sure.
economic
Okay.
would be the.
I mean, Angela, I
So
mean,
we discussed,
we discussed, out there that morning.
Ronnie and I were real concerned.
Ronnie and I were real concerned, or I was, more, I guess.
Some real aggressive dogs.
Real aggressive dogs where they bite the handler.
Is that in here how we're gonna
Is
handle
that
that?
in here how we're gonna handle that?
No, except for the only thing
We
that,
discussed about euthanizing.
yes, there is,
Pit bulls when we get one,
Right.
and
Instead of
there's,
us putting up and
instead
trying
of
to
us
handle it,
putting up and trying to handle it,
we talked about getting rid of
I-
it.
we talked about getting rid of it.
I talked to Fizzy about vicious dogs because I didn't quite understand the process. The only action that we can take, let's back up. There's a clause in our ordinance that says if you have a vicious dog, it has to be registered. You have to do this and this and this and microchip your dog, and every year you have to do this. And it's $100. I didn't understand the process, and out of this education we've learned, meaning with Chris, only the court can deem if an animal is considered
There's no, like,
vicious.
definition,
There's no,
like,
like,
this qual-
definition.
Yeah.
Like,
Vicious
this
dog.
qualifies as
It's
a vicious
actually,
dog.
Right.
It's actually.
when you gotta go to court in the,
I mean, you gotta go to
We're
court.
gonna
There's
let
an
them
evidence.
have to-
and-
we're
and
gonna
there's
let
an
them have
evidence
to
and-
own it.
Or when you bit the owner, tore his leg up, and I believe I consider a vicious.
Well, yeah, so when I talked to Fizzy the other day, she said if we get a dog in and it's biting people, they're going to be implementing, and we are too, a process for euthanizing an animal. Our ordinance says the animal control officer can make a unilateral decision to put an animal down.
Yeah.
We want a process where more than one person looks at it.
I want a committee,
Yes.
all the ACO, including the
Yes.
animal shelter, so 3 people have to, that is the proper, that is the proper
Right.
process.
And James said they're basically doing that now. Well, they are doing that now, but it's just not formalized. So we're looking at policy and procedure manual, we're looking at ordinance changes, and we're looking at processes to match those two. So that will be addressed, Phil, it will be addressed in the updates. It's just,
I was just
yeah.
concerned because we don't need,
Our people,
Right.
our people.
you know, business, so.
Okay.
Well,
okay, so we're gonna table this, do it all at one time. Is that right? Okay.
Well, for your
Great.
information, she's done a lot of excellent work in this process, is cleaning up the language in the ordinance that exists. And, so we'll keep you through, email correspondence, informed as to the languages that you want to see come forth and finish up the process.
You did a good job on it.
You did a good job on it, you
I know way more about animals than I ever did, which is good, so.
Definitely in the process, when we talked about the decimal.
Yeah.
machine or whatever that you can order.
Machine or whatever.
I think before we even look into like saying, oh,
Look into like saying, oh.
it's fine you if it's over
Fine
whatever.
you
I
if
think
it's
you really need
over
to
whatever, I think you really need
know
to
what that sounds like.
know
Who
what that
knows what
sounds
70
like.
sounds like?
Who knows what 70 sounds like?
Or whatever, so I mean, I looked on.
Whatever, so I mean, I looked on.
My Amazon Prime account.
My
like, you can
Amazon
order
Prime
those
account,
for
like, you can order
$40
those
bucks.
things.
So I think that I would recommend that we order a
I
couple of them
recommend
just
that we order a couple of them.
before we start
Before we
start
start.
throwing numbers out there.
I mean, in all honesty,
In all
that
honesty,
could be a requirement that we
could be
require
a
the
requirement
kennels,
that we require the kennels.
so that they know what
Yeah.
So that
they're
they
putting
know what
out.
They're putting out.
You know, that they have to have some sort of meter
They have
that's
to have
checked.
some sort of meter that's checked.
Not us to have it,
But
I-
we need
I-
to have return inspection or for nuisance calls or whatever. But I mean, if they're that inexpensive or one of quality to make sure that it's gonna be accurate, that's something we could have in there. You know, it's not that big a burden, so that way they understand,
Right.
you know, what it's doing.
Right.
And I think we really need to, under nuisance noise, define, I don't know, it seems like there has to be a lot more definition than just that.
Okay. Okay, I can do that.
Just to be
I
more
would
than one,
suggest to be more than one measure.
it's part of the system too.
Part of
In
the
other
system.
words, this could be one of the
This
measures.
could be one of the
That's
measures.
But there's other ways of.
There's other ways of declaring.
Just like,
nuisance.
yeah,
Not
just like,
other-
yeah,
than
like
just-
for how long,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
like for how long,
things like
yeah,
that.
you know,
There's
Yeah.
more things like that. It's kind of tricky. I mean,
It's
tricky.
I think it has to be a decimal.
It is real tricky, but you go back and you read
Article 8, Section B.
Article 8, Section
It
B.
gives you some direction.
It gives you some direction.
I do want to say that I researched, I pulled the planning, zoning, new language, old language, when the kennel that we're talking about on Maple Avenue was licensed. Everything was done legally. I looked at the, I tried to plot the track, I did the timeline, and I got it all plotted out, and there's no question that that kennel is legal.
Well, I think the
Yeah.
court has declared
Yes.
that also.
Yes, so it's now we just regulate kennels, and we should have been doing it all along. Right, everybody.
And
Yeah.
to John's point, you know, it can't be just, you know, a decibel level for like 30 seconds. Per second, it has to be like a length of it.
Well, an animal control has to go out there and measure it. It's not just, there's gonna be a process of complaining, and they're gonna have to go out there and hear it. I mean, it's gonna be,
It is, especially
Tough.
if they're already out on a call.
Yeah.
Again, this is where we get back into
So,
our, gonna have to
yeah.
read extra people again, but.
right,
You know what? And
You know
this
what?
is way early.
This is way
I'll
early.
get into it, but
I don't want to get
when
into
we
it, but when we
issues
have
with neighbors
issues
who are
with neighbors
trashed
who are
up their
trashed up
area,
their
is
area,
become part of our
become
discussion at
part
some
of our
point.
discussion at some
You know,
point.
we had that interview.
You know,
with
we
the
had that
gentleman
interview with the
who talked
gentleman,
about his neighbor's trash,
talked about his
how bad
neighbor's
it was
trash,
and everything.
how bad it was and
We
everything.
get into that
We
also.
get into that.
That's actually, that's part of the, something that I'm hoping to continue to talk about, that's property maintenance code that we've discussed. And yeah, that's something that has to happen. as well.
That's what Angie deals with.
Yeah,
She's got with me, I mean, charges, they don't.
Yeah. But if we have the property maintenance code, we already have the property maintenance code, solid waste that can fit right under.
There again, you've got to
There
manage
again, you gotta manage
our consideration of definition
consideration of definition
for the court is that,
for the court is
Chris,
that,
I mean,
Chris, I
you
mean,
not have to have kind of
you have
measuring
to
stick to
have kind of
determine what
measuring
is
stick to
Yeah.
determine
trash
what
heap,
is
Well, that's
what is not trash heap.
what is not
That's what
trashy
that is.
and.
There's an actual code, the city uses it, and we would just clean it up more for the county side. You know, abandoned vehicles on front lawn, those kind of things. There's a code out there that is actually, I've read it, it's really good. We just need to amend it for the county, and several counties do use it. And, yeah, so you incorporate an ordinance into it, and then you give them the tools, because right now, I have several in my district where I call Angie, can we do something about this, because, you know, the neighbors are upset, you know, same thing, values are going down in homes because you got a trailer park in the backyard. But there's nothing that she can do because she doesn't have the tools to take it to Chris.
Well,
So
we gotta give Julie something.
Well, we gotta give Julie something.
I know, I was just standing here going, should I tell them about this I'm working on and that? I do find it interesting. I have had some meetings about codes, and I had a discussion with the city about their code process. They do get calls constantly asking what the process is in the county. They call the city because they don't know who to call. So I want to explore that, see what that's about, what kind of questions do they have. I'm going to Yeah. The other thing is we have been started discussions with Airbnbs and short-term rentals and how are we going to handle that as a community, talking with the city about that. And part of that will go into a conversation about our business license. And I will be probably at the next meeting talking to you about that process. So it's all wrapped in together. And I'm going to segue right into the next item. Chris, you're probably part of this. We have been asked to enter into an interlocal cooperative agreement with the Bluegrass Governing Board. This was due to be signed last August, but I don't know why we didn't get it until last week. This is an interlocal agreement on how we will operate with the Workforce Development Board through Bluegrass Ag. So I'm asking for you to approve Judge Hunt to sign this agreement. I think we're the last county. They've called yesterday asking if we're going to sign it. So I'd like to get this off the judge's desk.
Do we have a representative? Do we have a representative?
Yes, there's these codes,
The judge.
CLEOs.
Yeah, that's what I was reading earlier.
That's what reading earlier.
I mean, it's good. I mean, it's
good.
even the mayor's license. Codes CLEO.
We approve this agreement.
We approve this agreement and authorize the judge to sign.
Second.
Motion made to approve the Bluegrass Agreement, made by Magistrate, made by Magistrate J, second by Magistrate Cullen. Comments, discussion? Questions, comments, discussions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Opposed, like sign. Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you. So, next we have our treasurer, Mr. Keegan Hinkle. Had a couple of things.
I don't need to request approval. I don't need to request approval for these two, but I'll recognize Ms. Trille and Mr. Derek Robbins for completing their 40 hours of training.
Getting their incentive payments, but I do need to request approval.
Need to request approval.
Mr.
Ronnie Short.
I'll make that.
Didn't drag it out. He didn't drag it out either.
Not my buddy Ron.
Discussion.
Motion made.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Magistrate K. Wood to approve the incentive short payments for Magistrate. Now we can discuss that. Now we can discuss
We
that.
discussed that. The sheriff's name is Christopher Robbins. Like we did.
I never seen anybody.
I never seen anybody at meetings. Anybody else ever seen?
There being no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you. Congratulations.
Money buying lunch for everybody.
Genuine financials, Keegan.
These just been circulated around for you all. If y'all have any questions, you can come discuss with me anytime. We don't need any approval or nothing like that.
Just had a question about the
Utilities, I realize they're. Tough month.
Tough
My
month.
gosh.
My
Look
gosh.
what it cost us down
What
at,
it cost us down at,
Constitution Square, for example, Goldsmith's gift shop,
Goldsmith's gift shop.
was that even open
Is that even open
last month?
last month?
$892
$892 electric bill.
Old.
Well, I think part of Dan, is still working upstairs.
Yeah. Well,
They don't even have, they have a code board. Board's been working out there or something.
Sorry.
That's where we have to revisit.
That's where we have to revisit with the
Constitution Square Committee, kind of get them working on consolidating some of those offices.
What Gracious Tavern,
About Gracious Tavern,
There's one person in there right now. There's one
person
in there right now.
$1,000 bill.
$1,000 bill.
Most needable installation.
$957 for electric bill for 1 month.
That, again, we just need the consolidation. If we can get the whole EDP area consolidated, I mean, they could technically be in two buildings. You know, and we could cut these costs tremendously.
All these up, you're talking about
And all these up, you're talking about
$3,000 away.
$3,000 for electric bill.
One little row there.
One little row there.
But my Consider run a gas
Consider
storm.
run a gas storm, have a gas heat.
I don't know, we need to do something.
I don't know, we need to do
Put a
something.
trash can in there with some.
And then you all realize we spend a lot of
And you all
money for
realize
salt.
we spend a lot of money for salt,
$16,000.
$16,000.
Yeah, we
Go
did.
ahead, Hank.
We had to
Yeah,
have
we
it.
did.
And I will say that Dwayne worked a lot of magic getting salt in here that was already contracted for, we didn't have it in place. And it was coming in during the ice storm,
During the
to be
ice storm,
redistributed, so.
be redistributed, so.
And he really watches that treated,
really
non-treated
watches
stuff.
that
Now, of
treated,
course, we could
non-treated
all
stuff.
for
Yeah, I wish we could all
for
for all treated
wider
stuff.
range
Because
of
it has
emissions.
wider range of
Oh, yeah.
emissions.
Put it on, when do you put it on? 2
Put
days
it on,
early.
what do you put it on, 2 days early, didn't it?
And the timing is everything, and
And
glad
the
he
timing
did,
is
because
everything,
it
and
helped,
glad he did, because it
you know,
helped,
minimize the impact of the ice.
minimize the impact of
And
the
then
ice.
You
And
get
then
into the same thing,
you
of
get
straightening
into
too
the
much,
same
too
thing,
quick,
straightening
and
too
to
much,
scrape
too
off the
quick,
salt
and
off,
to
it doesn't
scrape
have
off
time
the salt off, and
to
it doesn't
get
have
through
time
to
to
the
to
subsurface,
do to
to
the
start,
subsurface, to,
you know, breaking it up, so.
you know, breaking it up.
But, I know that the,
I know that
Epic Investor had an article
Epic
about,
Investor had an article
a
about,
lot of people,
a lot of
showing their
people,
appreciation for
showing
what
their appreciation
our
for
public
what
works crew had done during the
our
work.
work crew had
Yeah.
done
Getting
during
our,
the
Yeah,
getting to
yeah.
work.
getting into the work and everything. So,
You know, we had an unusual, this is a
we had
once a
an
decade
unusual,
kind
this
of
is a
thing,
once
and
a
we will
decade kind of thing, and we
talk
will
with, probably
talk
talk
with,
with KU and
probably
Henry
talk
County
with KU
about
and
some of
Henry
these
County
bills
about
that,
some of these bills that,
they're gonna be high. I don't know
they're
that
gonna
I've
be
got
high.
my
I
bill
don't
at home
know
yet.
that I've
Have y'all
got my
got yours?
bill at home yet. Have y'all got yours?
Yeah, I got mine, but boy, yeah, but that was.
Which I hate with gas.
I hate with
You
gas.
do too, yeah.
No, I don't
You
have
do
gas.
too,
No, I don't have
It's
gas.
all
You
like,
don't have gas.
It's all like,
It was a high month.
Had their heat on.
Everybody had,
I
had their
had-
heat on.
I had a couple things of wood delivered right before all that. We burned a lot of wood.
Can we go back to the Constitution Square? Keep talking about this. I guess what would you like us to do kind of to start that process? How do you want to handle it? Having a conversation with them about building a decision?
John and I,
We, John and I
for years,
talking about this for
we
years.
understand now why the state.
We understand now why the state gave it to us.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think that we can
I mean,
ask the
honestly, I think
Constitution
that we can
Square
ask the Constitution Square
committee.
committee
Workplace
to
committee.
look into this, but it's really up to us to say, because we're the landlord for the tenants.
Right.
So at this point, we really need to ask them, given the rising cost of what we're paying, I mean, they're barely covering the electric bills, which is what the lease calls for. We really kind of, I mean, I'm gonna bring, there's something else in here too, but, we really just gotta say to them, listen, if y'all wanna keep this contract or this lease, we really need you to consolidate. We need somebody out of Grayson Stavern. I mean, there's plenty of offices that they can consolidate to. And we need to turn this into a positive. Julie and I talked to, I think others talk about it too. We could utilize one, maybe two of those offices to rent out to a professional and actually have some income instead of spending all the time.
But one thing is, just like.
A lot of things,
real-
just
real
like,
cold month,
real
there's nothing going
cold
on,
month,
like
there's nothing going on,
gift
like
shop.
the gift shop.
You know, there's no use spending $1,000 for heat. Nobody in there.
Well, you gotta have to do something because if not, pipes are gonna freeze.
Right.
You gotta keep some.
You gotta keep some-
But they're so inefficient that, you know, it says heating, trying to keep at a certain temperature, but it's going right through the cracks through all of it.
No insulation.
There's no insulation.
There's not,
there's
The
none.
plastic goes
No,
away.
no,
I mean, you have to plastic the whole.
Then
somebody would object to that.
somebody would object to that.
Yeah.
Historical.
But Julie's right, we keep talking about it, so can we, what do we do? To say to, you know, the EDP board, Jody, we've talked about this, we've asked, we need consolidation to happen.
Well,
And if you need a motion, I'll make that motion. That we, you know, then they're gonna work with that.
Right.
okay, so we'll go do.
Okay, so we'll go do that.
What'd you say, Tom?
What'd you say,
I
Tom?
second the motion. I've got a motion.
If there is.
What's the motion made, Tom? What's the motion made, Tom?
We'll wait on the motion until we renegotiate the lease agreement.
Should we get to that point?
Should we get to that point? That necessity. Okay?
Yeah, we redrafted that.
Yeah,
but never got to court.
Right.
All right.
If you noticed on your
updated
agenda for today, we're not gonna do new business. Because as stated in the last
I
said if you had any items for discussion, put on the agenda as business. Give me 5 days before.
Give me 5 days before
I will
court,
put them on.
and I will put them on.
And I didn't receive any except
I didn't receive any except I had one request
regarding
from Ellis
closing today or at least for discussion about a local person of interest. And that's okay.
And that's okay.
But is everybody, what did everybody think about that?
What did everybody think about that?
I think it's a good idea.
I think
we're in agreement.
there's something we're in agreement. If there's something,
Communicate to Julie or myself,
or to Keegan
you'd
or
like
to
for
Ann,
consideration
you'd
on
like
the
for
agenda.
consideration
And
on
we
the
can put that,
agenda,
we can all
then we
talk
can put
about
it out
it.
there,
But
we
the
can
new
all talk
business,
about it.
sometimes,
The new business,
if we had new
sometimes,
business, we could
if we had
easily
new
be here
business,
for
we
another
could
hour,
easily be
and a
here
half.
for another hour and a
Right.
half.
Yeah, I understand that. I had a couple things written down.
You didn't call them? You didn't call them?
Parliamentary procedures, can you silence him? No, but in the electronic agenda that I had. Still had.
It was on there.
It was on there.
So I will keep my new business extremely short, if you allow me to have 2 minutes.
Could I ask for today in
Could
the
I ask for
transitional
today in
road
the
that we go around
transitional
the
road
room
that we go around the room for about, at the most 5 minutes to bring something up? 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
I'm gonna go by, I'm gonna agree with your recommendation. That if we have any new business, that we call Angel. Any of what I, oh, Miss Ann Nagy. Oh, Miss Ann Nagy. Okay. What I recommend.
It's me.
What I recommend. Okay. Well, buddy seconds it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I agree and I will.
I'll come back to him if we got something.
I'll come back to him if we got something to talk about.
EDA. And I know if we need to have a running of old business, not that we brought up under new business, I believe the previous court used to kind of do that. They talk about old business and things that we talked about in previous court sessions that kind of linger out there, like this, lease agreement with whatever, but economic development authority, city, county, we're gonna meet together and talk about that. Budget session, so we're gonna have some people asking for money, anything on the EDA
I've talked to
the city yesterday. I talked to about 3:30.
About 3:30.
They last night we're going to present the draft, the interlocal agreement to the commission. And I was hopeful that we would have a copy of it to present to you for examination.
Examination. Working in progress.
I talked to Stephen about that.
Another day, and he was gonna.
Okay.
He said he went straight
He said he
about
went really just went
statute
straight
or
about
whatever, but,
statute or
I
whatever.
haven't seen that.
So it's forthcoming.
Yes.
We talked about snow removal.
Yes.
I would like to maybe have something talked about with Wayne Weber. I think it doesn't happen very often, but I really think that we should look at hiring private companies to help take care of our subdivisions. So our public works can work mainly on the roads and not be concerned with subdivisions. We have lots of companies, and this also bolsters the business in Cole County, but we have lots of landscapers that work all summer that really don't have a ton to do during the winter. And most times they'll revert to snow removal. They do it really well in parking lots, so it's something that we may look at, that we may hire a third party that will look to do snow removal in subdivisions.
So put that on there for the next.
Thank you, and I'll leave it at that.
I can say that that can be a liability.
I can say that that can be a
Not gonna
liability
do
issue.
ton
Agreed.
insurance, but, you know, it's
Yeah, but it is what it is. You wanna do the business, you wanna get the money.
The only thing I would say about the next meeting in April.
So, yeah, I'm on,
We can change
actually
it.
30
No, it'll
March.
be actually 30 March.
Go ahead.
We can change that date.
Wait, I got that covered.
Okay.
I got that covered.
That don't matter.
Okay, John?
Okay.
Just so I
God?
understand, are we
Just so I
saying that
understand, are we saying that
if we have to get, something that we're gonna talk about
something that
this
we're
time
gonna
of
talk
the
about
meeting,
this time of the meeting,
Yeah.
that
we have to get that in
we have to get that
5
in
days in advance?
5 days in advance?
I disagree with that, but I'm in the
disagree with
minority.
that,
and that's
but I'm
okay.
in the minority.
But
That's okay.
because there's things
But
that come up
because
within
there's
a
things
meeting
that
that
come
I
up
think
within
we
a
may
meeting that I think
strike
we
a
may
thought
strike
that we need.
thought that we need.
I think we need the freedom
I
to
think we need
openly
the freedom
discuss
to
anything that
openly
we want
discuss
to do.
anything that we want to do.
At the time that
At the time that it
fits
at the
us,
time
and
that it
may not
hits
be
us,
5
and it may
days
not be
in
5
advance.
days
We have,
in
I'm not
advance.
saying to do,
I'm not saying.
I'm
to
okay
do
with
complete-
just something
I'm
like
okay
this.
with just something like this.
Yeah.
2 to 5 minutes,
Speak on,
say your
and
piece,
not get
speak
on
and not get on
spend an hour,
soapbox
45
and
minutes.
spend an
If
hour and
it's
45 minutes. If it's business related,
important enough to put on,
important enough
discuss,
to put
be on the agenda, let's
discuss,
put it
be
on the
on the agenda,
agenda
let's
and
put it
discuss
on the
it.
agenda.
But if you
and
just,
discuss
if there's
it.
something
But if
that
you just-
happens
if
between
there's
now
something
and the
that
next court
happens
session,
between now
it
and
is
the next
important
court
for you to
session,
bring up,
it is important for you to
2
bring
to
up.
5 minutes,
2
go
to
around
5
and say
minutes,
what you need to say.
go around and say what you need to say.
You know,
Sometimes, and this is just personal,
this
this
is just personal, this me.
sometimes I find something that I want
Sometimes
to
I
share
find
with
something
the
that I want
court.
to share with the court.
Like I did with the,
Like I did with the,
last
appointment
Right.
at the
But, you know,
last
things
Right.
that
You
I
know,
think
things that I think
need to be discussed.
And that's
I
need
agree
to
with
be
it.
discussed.
Okay.
I
But I
agree
just
with
don't
you.
think we need
Okay.
to.
But I just don't
take
think it needs to take a long time
What
to
you
do
like?
so.
12 minutes.
I think
Well,
5 minutes,
I think
5
it's
minutes.
You gotta
5 minutes,
consider
5
new
minutes.
business.
You gotta consider
New,
new
let's get it on.
Yeah.
New,
Yeah.
let's get it on the
New
agenda.
business.
Yeah, if
to
it's
talk
new
about.
business,
If you want
to
to talk about,
if you want to talk about
put it on the
unemployment
agenda,
rates, let's put it on the
But if
agenda.
there's something that comes up and
But if
it's
there's something that
informational,
comes up and it's informational,
let's talk about it here.
let's talk
I
about
don't
it.
want,
We'll work our way.
I don't want, I don't, yeah,
We'll work
I don't
our way
want
through it.
squelch. I don't, yeah, I don't want squelch
And I don't need.
innovation.
And I don't need,
Have
I want us to have
discussion
open
on what we feel like
discussion
is
on
important
what we feel like is important
as a county
as a
and for the
county,
members of the court.
for the
for
members of the
information.
court.
I mean, if we're talking about trying to, like, not have a prolonged meeting, if all of us want to put stuff on to talk about on new business, this is gonna be in the double letter characters.
Well, that's where, and the judge controls the agenda.
And that's the problem.
He can
And
balance
that's the
things
problem.
out.
He can
If-
balance
If we're
things
now
out.
gonna be
We
silent,
need to push
we're
this
now
one
gonna
off.
be
We need to
silent,
push this one
silent
off.
on something that's not
How,
have you been silent since you said
Have you
that
been
chair?
silent since you sit in that chair?
Yes.
No.
No,
No.
no,
No.
I'm just saying that if we wanna have something to discuss. And, you know, if we're looking to have, like, go over maybe on something, then yeah, it goes on new business. But if you give us 2 to 5 minutes at the end where we wanna bring something up, and I wouldn't just say 5 minutes, because 5 minutes turns into 7 minutes, but you said you've got 2 to 5 minutes.
Well,
Bring
the
up something
judge
at
can
the end.
control that. I mean, he's the chair. He's
Well aware.
the chair.
Well aware, but I'm just, John's not in the minority completely on this. I think that there are things that we talk appropriately a lot, but others talk too much.
You have too much time for you to cut it down.
And who is to judge?
and who is to judge who is too much time, sir?
Out of respect, I ask you.
Out of
that
respect, I ask you
But
that
I made
question.
notes, like John said, I made notes, things that come up that we're discussing that we can't talk about.
Okay.
So, I'm not, I
So,
don't
I-
want
I'm not, I don't want to squelch total innovation
and comment
and comment to this, because I think that's
everybody,
important.
you know,
Everybody, you know,
say it.
get something
If it's
said.
business related, it goes on the
Business
agenda.
related, it
If
goes
it's
on the
information,
agenda. If it's
you got some time
information,
at the end to say.
you got some time at the end to say.
You know, we've got a hot dog thing going on, you know, mine for woods, next state, come on out for it. So,
Exactly.
thank you.
Sounds good.
Judge Thomas,
I'm sorry, I can't shut up.
Judge,
Folks,
I've got
we,
an idea how this
Folks,
works.
we,
I didn't hear you, Tom.
I didn't hear you,
I've
Tom.
got an idea how this can work, because it works extremely well in Frankfurt and Washington. All you do is give us each 2 minutes, at the end of each meeting for general discussion, entitled it General Discussion. And I speak, but I defer my 2 minutes to Magistrate Sammons or whomever, and therefore my 2 minutes are lost to me, but he can have 4. And I've seen that go as many as 10 minutes in a parliamentary procedure.
That works too.
Give mine to John.
All right, thank you, Tom.
I've been here for a year.
I've been here for a year or two,
And I just really.
deep in my heart believe that I represent
District and I represent people.
district and I represent people.
And time doesn't designate
doesn't
how long I'm
designate
gonna represent.
how long I'm going to represent.
I think we only come together.
We only come
twice a month
together
as a
twice
general
a month as a
And
general
we
group.
deal with
the
business of a
business
sizable
of
county.
a sizable county.
I don't think it's
I don't
short
think
or long.
short
I think you
or
do
long.
what you have
I think
to
you
do
do
to
what
get
you
the job
have to do to get
And
the
time
job
doesn't
done.
dictate
And
that.
time doesn't dictate that.
We dictate that.
We
The
dictate
value
that. The value
of the discussion.
of the discussion.
It doesn't go by the
And
clock.
it doesn't go by the clock.
What we do.
It goes
for
by
people.
what we do for the people.
No, I don't, and I, no,
It seems like you're pointing at me.
It seems like you're pointing at
I'm
me.
not.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. I'm just looking at you because I'm trying to figure out your period.
And I guess the point in bringing this
And
up.
I guess the point in bringing this up
was
initially
if there are weighty
was if there are weighty
issues, and we've had some of those.
and
Not
we've
all
had
the
some
time,
of
but
those.
we have had some
Not
of
all
those
the
that we
time,
bring
but
up
we
in
have
new
had some of
business.
those that we bring up
And I
in
just
new
think it
business.
can be much more
And I just think it can
efficiently
be much more
discussed and
efficiently
talked about
discussed
if
and
it's an
talked
agenda
about
item,
if it's an
so we can
agenda
all
item.
get some of the
So we can all
information in
get
advance.
some of the information
And
in
also
advance.
so that staff
And also so
can
that
have the
staff
information in
can have
advance,
the
and that way we
information
can move
in
a lot of
advance,
these
and that way
things
we can move a
off
lot of
the
these things
table
off the
that linger
table
on the table
that
a
linger
long
on
time
the
that
table
we
a
don't
long
ever get
time
back
that
to. I
we
think if they
don't
get
ever
put
get
on the
back to. I think
agenda,
if they get put on the
they get
agenda,
discussed and dealt
get
with
discussed and
through
dealt with
agenda items. I
through
think some of
agenda
them get
items.
lost
I think
in
some of them get lost
new
in
business
new
conversations. So
business
that's
conversations. So that's
We'll try to see how it works, but I'm not about putting the quietest on anybody's opportunity to represent people that are elected by the people.
I think it's few and far between that you've had issues come up where we completely get rid of new business. I think new business needs to stay out. Things that we can discuss, but it's agenda work, and yeah, we do put it on the agenda. But sometimes things come up that morning, sometimes things come up the day before. So, you just want to have a discussion about it. And, I mean, if it's not a race to take care of the county business, we can. You know, you spend hours a day. As magistrates, we signed up for a role that says we're gonna take care of the county business. If it takes us 4 hours, we're gonna do 4 hours. If it takes us 2 hours, 4 hours. We're more efficient, but I'm not here to get in and out and just not serve people that put me here, by being confined because other things are happening. Believe me, I've got a lot of stuff push aside for my role as a magistrate. So, you know, I think that we all have voices and we're here to try to get in and out quickly. I'm not sure I've done. So if the whole purpose of this is to make sure our meetings are short and we're not.
I don't think that's.
Yeah, I would use efficient.
I would use efficient,
Not short.
not short. Efficient.
I agree with Ronnie on the agenda, and we know about it. I think that gives him time to digest and see what he wants, make a comment about it, and they, and instead of us just BS, we're actually yes to the point.
Of course, yeah, I brought up that.
I like that.
Yeah, I brought up
Yeah, I like that here, bro.
Well, we'll try to see how it works. Well, we'll try to see how it works. But I'm not gonna shut anybody off.
I wasn't
saying what they're
I
doing.
wasn't insinuating you were shutting them down. We need the opportunity to discuss. We need the opportunity to discuss.
Moving right along.
All right. Anything else? John? All right. Anything else, John?
Tom, you didn't get your,
Did you get your 2 to 5 minutes?
I didn't, no, sir, I did not.
He gave his.
I gave you an opportunity to just limit us all to about 12 minutes at the end, and I think that would work. That's what they do in Frankfurt and Washington. But one thing I would mention, the critical nature of getting this generator up on the ridge for our first responders. What's the status on that?
The generator agreement has been signed. It's been ordered. It's been ordered. We have a in-place workaround until the new generator can be placed. As you might well imagine, all the generators in this whole country are on back order because of not just in Kentucky, what's happened across our country.
Right.
It's been awarded to a local vendor, and that local vendor is going to greatly improve the responsiveness of troubleshooting and repair to the new generator on the contract for a year. Maintenance beyond is very economically advantageous to the county. We upgrade the generator. All I can tell you is that process has been agreed upon by the sheriff, the county fire chief, the emergency management director, and the emergency management agency director, EMS, EMA. And I'm in agreement with the recommendations to go forward. We have solidified that process where we will have a new generator and made recommendations to the city. Consider doing likewise on Persimmon Knob.
That's excellent. That's outstanding. The one other thing I would defer to you, Judge, is what you mentioned earlier about this outstanding member of the Perryville community. So I'll not comment on that. I'll allow that to come from you.
All right. And in my time, I'll give Counselor his 2 to 5 minutes. We'll see how that goes. Yep.
We had a meeting with Steve Hunter about Jody Sharp. You know, it's kind of old business about the road acceptance. And Steve got some good ideas. How that ordinance that we have be amended to better serve our community. I think that the road standards and so forth that were made up in '88 or whatever when that was initially set have changed over time. And I don't know if I'm saying the right numbers, but Steve says like 8, 4, and 2, or we say that, or 20 inches, and then Anyway, we
may interject. Process discussion regarding acceptance of roads and subdivisions by the county. There was some concern that specifications may need to be strengthened a bit to give the duration of the road in a period of time from our acceptance. Construction going over. That the depth of the specifications on our county road will be enhanced where we have minimal concern about road degradation after acceptance. Is that, am I clear enough on that?
Yeah. Then we further talk about how, with I guess the section that Jody was wanting to have accepted, we've had the ice storm, snowstorm, and due to our not accepting those yet, it puts people, they don't get the roads plowed and so forth, and we feel that that's a disservice to our constituents. So I think that the best way to address this in the future, would be to amend the ordinance to allow for the new standards and other things that we want to do to fix road acceptance. But based on speaking with Steve Hunter, I mean, I think that at the time when Jody asked us to accept the road, he had fulfilled all the regulations and so forth that were laid out for him in the current regulations, ordinance, and so forth. So I think that I would recommend the best thing to do is go ahead and accept that road. And from here forward, we can use this as process to now increase our ordinance to make better roads here in the future. I agree. I like the idea of not just coming up with, substandard roads, but actually giving them some depth. There's going to continue to be construction on them, and they need to be strong roads. And I think a lot of the counties around us are doing that, or I guess across the Commonwealth are doing that. So if we update the standards on our thickness and requirements, then yeah, we can accept roads quicker. So, but we have to be.
And Dwayne's on track to do that analysis
with other county roads.
around county roads.
I think he's getting Washington County, Marion, some other surrounding.
So he's gonna give us
Yes, on the
recommendations.
improvement, on the total surface area.
But this road meets the qualifications.
Of our current standards.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We're having a work day on road. Looks like it's gonna be Friday,
Looks like it's gonna be
March
Friday,
19th at 9
March
a.m. Does that work
19th
for
at 9
everyone?
a.m. Does that work for everyone?
19th at 9 a.m.
Mhm.
Yeah. 19th at 9 a.m.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That on Friday. That on Friday.
For you?
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
So with that, I mean, I would ask somebody.
I'll make a motion. Go ahead and approve the road.
Well,
To approve the county's acceptance of the roads that have been submitted for request for approval. Is that what we're?
Is that what I'm hearing?
I thought we were gonna request to revisit the ordinance. Wait, I was saying, yes, we need to revisit the ordinance if someone has fulfilled our current ordinance, I don't feel like we should hold them up further, hold up the people that have houses. I thought that was the question we have, whether they have or have not. They have fulfilled it according to our ordinance.
The latest
And Dwayne.
So you say Dwayne signed off?
You say Dwayne signed off on it, meaning our ordinance as it presently is.
So I'll make the motion.
Motion's been made to comply with our current KRS statute and ordinance on road acceptance by the county.
Would we not?
Does everybody know what that?
Does everybody know what?
I would say that we discussed it on the 19th, and then we put it on the 30th agenda.
And I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Let's
Okay.
discuss it on 19th.
Let's discuss it on 19th with Dwayne and Steve and everybody.
Then make a motion.
And then make a motion on our slip link to the 30th.
So we'll do that.
Okay?
Don't remember.
So we'll do that. Is that okay, Councilman?
That's great, we get. That's great, we get Dwayne here, and get Steve here.
I don't know where you know what we're talking about. You got next fucking. We're talking about computers.
So we'll defer to the 19th and discuss it pretty good.
Is that good?
All right. The road meeting on the 19th, not normally scheduled. All right. Yeah.
It's a perfect example, yeah. I agree that I
understand.
And now we've made the recommendation that, yeah, it should go on the agenda, it should have more information. Just like for Julie, just do the ordinances. So, yeah, this is working itself out.
All right, just for everybody's information, and those that are watching online, our next meeting is scheduled for the 23rd of March. And I want to move that to the 30th. Will help us,
Pay bills and
pay bills in a more timely fashion.
there's some other reasons for moving that to the
30th of March.
We advertise
We
Our
advertise
next
that.
scheduled
Our next scheduled
court session, the regular
court session
will be March 30th,
will be March 30th,
Tuesday, at
Tuesday
9 a.m.
at 9
And
a.m.
then due to some conferencing
scheduling,
we have
we
a
have
conference on the
a
13th,
conference
and we
on
have
the
fiscal
13th,
court
and we have
scheduled on the
fiscal court
13th of
scheduled on
April.
the 13th of
And I'm
April.
gonna ask that we move
Ask that
that
we move
court
that
date
court date
later in the week to the 15th, which is a Thursday,
15th, which
at
is
9
a
a.m.
Thursday.
So
at 9
those that
a.m.
are
To
scheduled
those
to
that are
attend the
scheduled
conference on
to
the
attend
13th
the
and
conference on the
14th
13th
can
and
do so,
14th.
and not be encumbered
And not be encumbered
feeling
with
that they missed the court session. I don't want them to miss court session. So rather than it on the
rather than it on
it will
the
be
April
on
13th, it will
April
be on
15th.
April
at 9 a.m.
15th.
So just so I understand, March 23rd will now be March 3rd.
Correct.
Then
Correct.
April 13th will now be April 15th.
Correct.
Correct.
Works for me.
And as a
And
request
as a request by,
EMS water heater.
oh, I do.
I
And this is,
Director
Rogers is
Director
online.
Rogers is online,
And recently,
and
like
like this week,
the water heater
the
out
water
of
heater
EMS, which
out
they
of
use
EMS, which they
daily
use daily
with the shift crews,
with the ship
has
crews,
gone out.
has gone
Completely.
out
He had
completely.
one estimate.
He had one
It
estimate,
scared the living
it scared the
out of
living
me.
daylights
Won't
out
say
of me.
who or
I won't say who or it was
$5,000
$5,000
for a water heater.
for a water
Talking
heater.
about a regular water heater.
Well, it's not regular.
Well, it's not regular,
And it's only
and it's
commercial.
How many gallons?
50, which is way insufficient for me for
insufficient
$5,000, but that's.
Yeah, I've got
$5,000,
an 80
but
gallon.
that's
I've got an 80 gallon.
But anyway, what I would like to discuss.
What I would like to
I
discuss,
consider this
I consider this an emergency request because they need hot water.
Shower every day on the crew.
Shower every day on the crews that are out there.
And so I would like
So
the
I
court
would
to
like
consider
the court
a
to
motion
consider a motion to
get a new water
get
heater
a
with
new
3
water
bids
heater with
and
3
and
bids
authorize
and authorize
myself to approve
myself to
the lowest and
approve
best bid
the lowest and
of the
best
water
bid
heaters
of
move
the
forward
water
as
heaters
quickly as
move
quick as
forward
possible.
as quick as possible.
Motion made by Patrick Seven, second by Magic Cable discussion.
Magic Cable
On the motion
discussion,
to,
on the motion to,
move forward on the water heater.
move forward on the water
Do they
heater.
have, do they have
Yeah.
gas out there?
Do they have gas?
Natural gas?
Should have.
I think we do.
You know, you can get a natural gas heater where it eliminates the water, you know, you got constant water heat all the time. They're not much higher than that.
They're not much higher than that.
And they eliminate your water
They
heater.
eliminate your water heater and
Hot water
On demand.
constantly.
On
demand.
Well, I want Director
Well,
Rogers.
I want
who's
Director
online
Rogers
right
who's
now
online
to
right
explore
now
all the immediate
to explore all the immediate options that he
and
can
get
get
people
compliant.
taken care of. Is there anything you want
Take care of. Is
to
there anything you want to say,
No,
Mike?
I appreciate you bringing it up so we can go ahead and get it fixed. It's a specific type of unit, so I will look at all the different options available, but I will work with the judge and give him the recommendation that works best for us.
And talk to electricians and see
Talk
if
to
it's
electricians and see if it's even economically,
if
not
it's feasible to
if
convert
it's
from what it
feasible
is
to
to
convert
something
to
else.
what it is to
Okay.
something else.
As
As far
electrical.
as electrical
Okay.
capacity.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Anything else,
All right.
Mike?
Anything
No,
else,
that's it.
Mike?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. In closing,
Oh, okay.
oh, okay, yeah.
Motion's been made.
Motion's been made
To approve
to approve
what I said regarding.
what I
moving
said
forward on the
regarding
water heater for
forward on the water heater for
medical service.
medical service.
Is there any discussion on that?
Is there any discussion on that?
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
None? All those in
None?
favor?
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign?
Opposed, like
Motion
sign.
carries. Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank
All
you.
right. In
All right.
closing,
In
I've had
closing,
a request
I've had a
from
request
Magistrate
from
Tom Ellis
Magistrate Tom
that
Ellis
we
that
recognize
we recognize
a
distinguished
county person of interest that is really made a name for themselves recently. And Miss Alyssa Ray from Perryville was an 18-year-old on American Idol, and she has really held herself in high. She has distinguished herself with her talents, to be recognized as a great future ahead of her in the singing profession. So not to adjourn in honor of, I would like for this court to be on record as showing them their support on her future endeavors as she pursues going through American Idol to be the American Idol. And we wish her well in all of her professional pursuits and her endeavors, and congratulate her on her accomplishments. She has recently been recognized for as a distinguished competitor in that arena. Tom, would you like anything else? To say?
I most appreciate it because she has an outstanding future ahead of her, and she's bringing honor to Boyle County.
Absolutely. Put Perryville on the map. Although they were already there. She helped to solidify that. I would request in consultation with the court, I would like to adjourn today in honor of a pillar of the community who has passed away, Mr. Bill Caldwell, whose sons are Kevin Caldwell, pillars of our community. I would like to adjourn this session in honor of recognition of Bill Caldwell, his life, his contributions to Boyle County, to he and his family, and I appreciate the opportunity to do so. So with no objection, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn in honor of Bill Caldwell this day.
So moved.
Motion made by Magistrate Gaines, second by Magistrate Cullen. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye. What do you got, John? Opposed, like sign, motion carried. Stand adjourned. Thank you. Saturday.